I never wanted this job. I'm not politically oriented. I'm not an activist. But quite simply, with my background with Bechtel Power and the renewable energy industry, my home was on the cover of the world's largest renewable energy magazine. When I moved to the Pacific Northwest thinking I would find clean air, and seeing these trails above that were blocking, in some cases, 60, 70, 80% of my solar uptake, clearly something was going on. When research led me to this subject, I began testing water, did not want to find these toxic heavy metals, but I did, in ever-increasing amounts. I'm in this fight because my children have no future if we don't stop this. And even if we stop this, we faced immense challenges, immense. But this is the battle that we must win. Henry David Thoreau said, "Thank God men cannot fly, or they would lay waste to the sky as they have done to the earth." That is now reality. Many days our skies look like something from another planet. And it's not just the horizon to horizon trails. On an otherwise clear day, there is even more climate engineering going on above the clouds on days like today. And we know this because it's coming down in the rain. We're not speculating. We have 70 plus lab tests in Northern California alone, lab tests from all over the globe. We've seen single rain events as high as 3,450 parts per billion of aluminum. That's an escalation of 50,000% from our original baseline. We see these trails in the sky, the less rain we get. Virtually all scientific data, even from the proponents of geoengineering, state clearly, saturating the atmosphere with particulates will create drought. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a growing but neglected global epidemic. We're all frogs in boiling water right now, period. Whether we realize it or not, whether we feel healthy or not tonight, we're all breathing this stuff in. It's clogging us up slowly but surely. It's absolutely happening. We're not. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a growing but neglected global epidemic. We're all frogs in boiling water right now, period. Whether we realize it or not, whether we feel healthy or not tonight, we're all breathing this stuff in. It's clogging us up slowly but surely. It's absolutely happening. We're not speculating. We have about 6 lab tests from Shasta County alone. We know this material's in the air, and we know we're breathing it. There's no speculation on this. This is a bioaccumulative metal. It's just what we know about is lethally harmful. So this is a problem we all are experiencing to some degree. 1 in 3 older adults now dies with dementia and or Alzheimer's. Doesn't mean they die with it or from it, but they die with it. And all of us, again, are somewhere along that path. Cognitively, we all have this stuff in us. It's affecting us all to some degree. This is an older chart. I've used this chart before, but it's important because it shows the escalation for autism. We've gone from 1 in 5,000 to 1 in 50. That's a 10,000% increase. That should alarm people. So why are people watching American Idol and football and drinking beers and having tailgate parties? We're immersed in an absolute crisis right here, right now. So my attempt is to convey that message. The global depopulation policy killing us softly. How do you cool a population without panicking them? And I've stayed away from this subject in very much depth because I'd hoped people would come around and just to the simple notion they're being sprayed like rats day in and day out. But it seemed not enough have. As long as McDonald's is flipping burgers and Walmart's open, people seem to think everything's okay, but it's not. It's not. And this will come to a very abrupt end very soon on the course we're on. So you see virtual grid patterns. Are we supposed to believe that's commercial traffic? Doing loops in one case and grid patterns in another? It's absolutely not commercial traffic. And if you look at the scope and scale of what they can cover, those are 100% aerosol clouds over the Pacific. That's one of their goals, to block the sun over the oceans, to keep the thermal buildup, the heat, from building up in the oceans. But again, the paradox is what they're doing is actually making the overall situation worse because it traps more heat, then it deflects, shreds the ozone layer, disrupts the hydrological cycle. This is the pharmaceutical cure for planet Earth that has a list of side effects so long that it makes the original problem look benign. Does no one know that even though we have an El Nino that's building, that should bring rain to California, how do they know that we shouldn't count on El Nino to bring us rain? How do they know that? Are we not scheduled to get any rain? Because at this point, it's not forecasting, it's scheduling. And this is Raytheon giving us this headline, not NOAA. How can they possibly know that we're not going to get any rain out of an El Nino? Because they can migrate this moisture across us as long as they want. And how secure could any of our futures be when we don't control what should be natural, and we don't control the weather. They control how much falls on us, how much not, how toxic it is, what other chemicals there may be in it. We're getting aluminum, barium, strontium, copper, manganese, and all these metals are toxic in and of themselves. But you start to mix these metals, and now you have a very lethal mix. You have something called synergistic